Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lions from Lambs YouTube channel. I'm Rob Malone, I'm an elementary school teacher, and today I want to talk about social media, particularly the dangers of social media to children. So this is a very, very important topic because social media has become more and more a regular part of our lives, and that includes the lives of teenagers and, in some cases, children. So really, the social media landscape is not an area where children should be, but it happens. More and more parents are feeling more comfortable allowing their children to have social media accounts. And so, if you're going to do that, there are some precautions and safeguards that you can take to at least minimize the risk to your child. Again, nothing can keep them, once they've opened that door and they've ventured into the world of social media, there's really nothing you can do to 100% guarantee that they're safe. That's why if you can hold off on allowing your child to have social media accounts just longer and longer till they're older and older, I really think that would be best. But that being said, social media, again, it's so normal that a lot of our fears about it have dropped. A lot of the guard has come down to where, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when social media first started with just a couple of major platforms, we were very wary of it, but we're not now. Again, because we go to it for everything, and everybody has accounts for the most part, and it's just part of day-to-day life. That's really why it's so dangerous, because it doesn't strike us as something to be particularly worried about. So, look, the first thing you need to do if you are going to allow your children to have a social media account is to create and maintain an open line of communication with them. Now, as a parent, you do that anyway. You talk about them. How did their day go at school? Are they feeling okay? Is anything upsetting them? Are bad things happening at school? Just normal parent-child communication. Well, the same needs to be true for social media. And talk to them about their social media experience. What platforms do they like? Where are they spending most of their time? Have they talked to anybody online? You really just want to make sure that relationship of trust is there, so that they will tell you if something strange goes on. Along with that line of communication, you really want to make a point of educating them about the risks of social media. Now, with a child, this will be a battle, because just like we talk about going to parties or driving fast or anything else, young people generally do not like taking safety advice from older people. That is natural. That's just how the species is. So that'll be a battle. You're going to have to really reinforce it with them. But if you've got that relationship of trust, you can do it. But educate them on the risks of social media, about being careful to whom they speak online, to be careful about what they share, personal information, sometimes inappropriate information. Make sure that they understand, and there's a lot of adults really don't understand this until it's too late. Once you put something out on the internet, it's out there. You no longer own it. Now, I'm not talking about legalities, but by the time the legal system gets through to some of these cases, by then it's too late. And sometimes something terrible has happened. So make sure they understand that when they share something online, even if they're only sending it to one person, the truth is they have given up their ability to control where that image or that message or that video or whatever it may be, they've lost control of it and they've basically given it up. Once it's sent, once you push send, it's done. And again, this is a lesson a lot of adults would be well to learn as well. But either way, that's the danger of the internet, and kids don't understand that, even teenagers. But we need to educate them on that, because it could really prevent, in many cases, tragedies. There have been a lot of tragedies about just things that have been shared online that have come back to haunt people and really destroyed their lives. So you need to also become an absolute expert. If you are going to allow your child on social media, you must become an expert about the platforms that they're using. Because I promise you, there are so many ways for things to be hidden, so many ways to, rabbit holes to go down on every different social media platform. You must become an expert about, of course, parental controls, messaging settings. You need to be an expert about that, but you also need to know how to find hidden messages, hidden loopholes, everything. You need to know everything about the platform. And if you decide to allow your child onto a social media platform, spend a few hours on YouTube and learn absolutely everything about that platform. There will be videos, regardless of what platform you decide to go on, there will be videos telling you about some of the lesser known features of those platforms. You must do it, because children are very good at hiding things, and sometimes they don't realize that their hiding things will end up hurting them. And so again, as the adult, it's our responsibility, your responsibility, to protect your child, sometimes even from themselves. You want to monitor their usage. You want to make sure you know with whom they're in communication on social media. You need to know what content they're consuming. You need to also want to make sure you understand what content they're putting out, because for many people in general, but specifically children, social media is an outlet, and it's a pretty effective outlet to vent, to tell the world you're mad at what you're mad about, and this is true also for children. So you can get an insight into your child, and if your child is having any sort of issues emotionally, maybe they're being bullied, maybe there's something's going on in life that's really getting them down, social media is a good place to find out. So it's also, you do want to watch the two-way street of what they're consuming. Certainly you want to make sure they're consuming content that is appropriate and healthy, and certainly not harmful, but you also want to watch what they're putting out, because that can give you a lot of insight into their psychology in the moment. If you have a child, again, I strongly recommend against having children on social media, but and it's not really, they're not allowed per most of the platforms, have age limits. But either way, even I think TikTok is 13. If you've got kids who are on any social media and they're younger, under 18, you need to have their passwords as their parent. And that needs to be a compromise that they have to accept, because you have to know what's going on. You need to have access to their messages, see who's messaging them. You need to have access to the content they're putting out. You need to see it from their dashboard, from what they're seeing, not just as, okay, you have to add your account as a friend and you get to see that. No, you need to see what's in their account. If they're a little older, 16, 17, 18, then maybe come to a compromise and have an agreement to where, okay, maybe every once a week or twice a week or once every 2 weeks or once a month, whatever you decide, you guys will log in together and kind of go over things. But you must be monitoring what's going on social media, because it's a slippery slope and things can get out of hand very, very quickly. And unfortunately, the ramifications can be devastating if something gets out of hand and you don't catch it in time. You've got, obviously, social media. The major threat is online predators. That's not the only threat, but that's certainly the most prevalent one that you think of when you think about young people, teenagers getting online. Even adults are vulnerable to predators. It's not solely limited to children who are targeted, but you really do need to be extremely vigilant with your child if they have any sort of social media presence, because the predators out there, the people who want to gain access to your child for whatever reason, they're incredibly resourceful and they are relentless, and they know the ins and outs. There's a very good TV show. It's on Discovery Channel. It's called Undercover Underage. And what it is this team, little organization. It's SOZA, Stopping Online Sexual Abuse. And what they do is they run sting operations on child predators. And they set up online accounts, and they'll have decoys. They'll usually have women who are 21, 22, 23, but they're very young appearing. And they'll make them up. It's a really, really first-rate operation that they do. And they'll actually have these women pose as 12, 13, 14-year-old girls, and they will engage in an online communication with they always wait for these guys to reach out to them. It's not an entrapment situation, but when they do, get a guy on the hook, they will escalate up to even video chats. That's where these decoys, these women, are so useful in building the case. They work with the local sheriff department. It's all on the up and up. And the thing about that show is it's a great show. It's good to see, at the end, or they get the sting, they get these guys off the streets. That's good. But there's a really, really dark side to the show, in that when you see these video chat interactions and you hear what these men will say to what they believe are 12 or 13-year-old girls, and how brazen they are and how aggressive they are on video chat, realizing they're speaking to what they believe is a child, it will send chills down your spine. And it did for me. And I'm not a sensitive guy by any means, but watching the show and seeing that almost shook me a little bit. So I highly recommend checking that show out if you're a parent, just so you understand the realities of the dangers out there, and that you can see it. We all know the world is dangerous. We all know these bad people exist, but when you see real examples of it, it's very sobering. So either way, if you have spare time, I definitely recommend that show. But look, the other thing you can do is, really with social media, and this is true for everybody, children and adults, is to really limit time on it. Sure, it's part of all our lives, but there are many, many other parts of the world. Get your kid involved in outdoor activities, traditional, real-world activities, athletics, hiking, swimming, playing catch in the yard. Not only is that keep them off social media, it's a good bonding experience, with your kids, which they so desperately need that. They may not realize they need it because the world has shifted. And you may not realize how important it is, but it's crucial to them growing up strong, stable, and healthy. Those bonds of just having a catch, throwing the baseball back and forth, or helping dad work on the car, or helping mom, do whatever she's doing, cook dinner or whatever. I mean, I don't, whatever it is you do, children love to help. And the reason they want to help is because whether they realize it or not, it's those bonds are being formed. It's in their subconscious. The familial bonds are formed that way. It's the way the human species did it for tens of thousands of years. And that hasn't changed. It takes, just because society has radically changed over the last 70, 80 to 100 years, the way humans live has changed. That programming takes that's going to take a lot longer to go away. So really doing things together, doing activities together off social media is one of the best things you can do for your child. But either way, with social media in any part of our lives, as a parent, you simply need to be absolutely relentlessly vigilant. Okay? Relentless vigilance is what it's going to take. You have to be constantly watching, because again, as a parent, you don't get a second chance. There's no second chances. You make one mistake and that's it. And that's the reality of parenting. But we can all, come together and agree that the important thing is the child. The children, that this next generation of children are allowed to grow up strong, stable, healthy, and safely. Thank you very much for your time. If you got some value from the video, I'd appreciate you hitting the like button. And if you like the channel, and if this is the kind of content that you feel would be of value to you, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you'll be advised anytime videos are released. Have a great day.